Thank you.
Welcome to another Amazing Race 25 recap podcast from the UR Team Number Facebook group. My name is Michael Harmstone, and I am joined, as ever, by the guy who sent me the instant message a couple of days ago. Hey, gang, the Locusts are still alive, Logan Saunders!
Morning.
Thought we'd go back to Survivor Australia for your one this week. Because I know you love that instant message. Hey, gang, the Colts are still alive. And, of course, our special guest star, the one Australian who would happily kick Jim and Misty's teeth in, Ben Powell.
Howdy.
If you want to get in contact with us during the next hour, as ever, you can post comments on the video if you're watching on the YouTube channel. There's Q&A on the Google Plus page, or you can get your opinions in on the Facebook group, which is linked in the video description. Alternatively, tweet us using the hashtag YetandCast, which is somewhere in this corner.
Down here.
Yeah, which you can see whenever I or Ben speak. So.
Except Logan, because once again.
Yeah, Logan.
It doesn't work on my computer for some reason. An error message always pops up.
He's not part of the Cool Kids Club.
If Michelle can do it, you can do it.
Exactly.
And we spent an hour at one point having to get it together.
Yes, we did. It was lucky it was on my day off because we did spend a while trying to get it to work for Michelle, didn't we?
We had to actually install her a new internet browser.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So, how did we enjoy this episode?
I loved it.
I thought it was good. I just wish it was a bit slower paced, but other than that, I don't have too many complaints about it. It was pretty good.
Is it wrong to say that this is probably the best season since at least season 17?
No, I'd agree with you there.
I'm throwing it out.
Yeah, pretty much only 21 competes with it.
I didn't like 21 that much. 21's route let me down. Ugh.
I liked it. I liked it once it left Asia. So
I know it. I know everyone gets on my goat when I mention how much I hate the Bangladesh and Indonesia rounds, but they were so boring.
Our Bangladesh and Indonesian viewers feel very offended right now. We're about to lose a huge part of our fan base. Thanks a lot, Michael.
It'd be interesting to see the analytics to see how high up Bangladesh and Indonesia are on watching our videos. Because I don't think they'll be very high.
Probably high up on the Australia videos, but who knows here?
Oh, shut up.
You probably.
You go to hell, Ben.
I was taking a jab at me. I was taking a jab at me, saying that the 3,000 views I get were probably like people, click farm workers in a farmhouse in Bangladesh.
Yeah, you go to hell. Go die in a hole.
I think that Abba's.
You're angry there.
No,
You're really angry.
5, 6, 7, 8. Indonesia's number 9 on our total views. Bangladesh really isn't. Brunei's higher than Bangladesh.
Brunei?
Yeah,
the
Brunei.
Kingdom of Brunei?
Apparently Brunei is in the top 50. That makes really good.
I never would have guessed.
Watching me look through our country list in order of number of views, but
so we had an episode we were going to talk to, didn't we?
Yeah,
we had an episode we were going to talk about, didn't we?
Bangladesh is number 2, 3, 4,
Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 110.
I'll go get find the link while you talk about
the
So we probably should get back to the episode now, really. So previously,
Spill really got carried away with the puns in his intro for this week, I believe.
Yes, he did. He took a leaf out of Alan Wu's book.
Yeah.
Do you wear a wife beater?
Michael and Scott starting off on the wrong foot. Wrestlers getting hammered. And Tim and TJ couldn't get their sheep together. And then, of course, emphasizing that Jim and Misty are the most dominant team of the Amazing Race after the first 3 legs, even though Natalie and Megan won the first 4 legs of Amazing Race Canada, so Jim and Misty's first pattern doesn't even hold up as the best.
And there's also a team in one of the, I think it's Latin American seasons, I want to say, another female team who won the first 4 legs. or won the
I
first
think
3 legs.
because I think it was first 3 legs, and
Yeah.
I think it was a team in the Philippines version that won the first 4 legs.
Yes,
Probably.
it was Mark and Cat, wasn't it?
Mm.
I stand corrected. I knew there was a team. I know I was hyping it up when we were doing the Canada podcast, saying that they'd set a record, but they actually didn't. Fact. The good
They
news
set a
is,
record for people who speak English.
yeah, true. The good news is that Jim and Misty, now the best they can ever do, even if they win all remaining 8 legs, is second place overall. Mark and Robertson are safe. Officially.
Mark and Robeson are that good.
Yeah. If Jim and Misty finish anywhere below first in the next 8 legs, they will officially drop below Eric and Jeremy.
Eric and Jeremy are also that good.
Make dirty
Yeah.
joke.
I'm setting you up here, Ben. Come on.
You think
So-
that little me that I would go for that low hanging fruit as far as fun's concerned?
Yeah.
See, that's why I have the show that has 3,000 viewers, and you have the one with 1,000 viewers.
Can you see this, Ben?
Yes, like I'm sorry, it's great. The screen sprays on your face. I can't see anything. You should keep doing it.
So previously, Scott's Ankle, Jim and Misty, Brooke and Robbie, Tim and TJ, and Jim and Misty win, and Michael and Scott's eliminations were mentioned. And setting a new low in Amazing Race US history, only 3 teams were shown with departure times.
But we saw teams at the pit stop for the very first time in what feels like years and years and years of them
That was
sleeping at the tents at the pit stop. Usually the only time that we've seen a team at the pit stop rest period was, I think the last time was with Leo and Jamal departing a couple minutes late, I think, in Amazing Race 23.
Yeah, that must have been really rough sleeping on a beach in the Shetland Islands, because they are not warm. The Shetland Islands are very, very cold, actually.
But wasn't it like summer over there when I was filming?
Yeah, but it's Scotland summer, so it's like just above freezing anyway.
Sure.
And back to my trying to irritate the Shetland Islands. And all of Scotland, for that matter. Mind you, that was your job last week. You were trying to get me in trouble last week. Thankfully, we didn't have any abusive messages to me, but I was surprised.
Shocking.
Yeah, the Shetland Islands are an average high of 15 degrees in June, which is roughly when it was filmed.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, average high is July and August is 16 degrees. So yeah, that's your weather.
That's about our minimum.
So teams, when they were leaving the pit stop, had to take a 13-hour ferry back to Aberdeen and then fly to Copenhagen, Denmark. Once there, they must find the product placement cars in the airport car park to find their next clue.
The rarely visited Copenhagen, Denmark, nonetheless.
Yeah,
it's barely been visited in the past 24 seasons, which surprised me because with this leg, it seemed like they had enough interesting things to do. That's a bit surprising that the most livable city is also pretty much the least visited Northern European capital in Amazing Race.
Yeah, I'm really, really surprised that they have never properly been to Copenhagen before, because I've been to Copenhagen. And in fact, they didn't even visit it in season 19, I don't believe. They went to Denmark, but... Oh, they had 2 route markers in Copenhagen, and that was it. No, 3.
Was that during the lunging?
No, the lunging was... it was the same leg as the lunging, one of them, but the lunging was not in Copenhagen. That was in Brussels. In Brusselsdorf. Anyway, back to Bill and Kathy lunging, because I'll put that next to my head again now you've mentioned it. So, Jim and Misty departed at 10:36 a.m, Adam and Bethany at 11:45, and then Keithney, you disgust me, at 11:53, and then everyone else was not shown. Really winds me up when I do this.
Look, the season's good. The season's like so good already. I don't really care.
Yeah, but still, irritating.
A little bit, I guess so.
We wouldn't have been able to mock Ryan and Rob as much as we did without knowing their departure times were that terrible every time.
Has anyone else noticed that as the race progresses, that Jim looks more and more like a serial killer as the race goes on?
Yeah, I saw
No,
I saw a comment saying that Jim's uh, that Misty would be the only person in the world who would actually find Jim's face comforting at the roadblock when he just glares in.
Yeah. When he's
Oh,
lurking through the glass, that was the best.
that was.
He's just standing there, just oh man, that would be creepy. I would just forget my sandwich orders and just run out of the back exit of the restaurant and never look back. Oh man.
I know I love Jim and Misty more than some people do, but still.
I don't mind them. It's just I didn't mind them this leg because they were failing so much after all the arrogant talking up. But it's just the last 5 minutes, no, the last minute or so, which we'll eventually get to. I just
They're like the
Well,
new Ryan and Abby, which is great. It's a team that you need every few seasons. The team that just does well for a couple legs at the beginning and is absolutely convinced they'll win everything, and then they just plummet from there, and that's just always so sweet to see.
at least with Ryan and Abby, when you get to them with your blog, you'll just be able to keep screen capping The Apprentice Martha Stewart.
Yeah, that is true. I do. I'm like one of 3 people that like the Apprentice Martha Stewart edition on planet Earth.
Oh, I'm obsessed with the UK version, but I've sort of fallen out of love with the American versions.
The Apprentice, Martha Stewart, UK.
No, I mean the General Apprentice UK. Oh my God, the delusion. Sample quote from it. There was 2 episodes this week as a sort of premiere week, and a sample quote from the first episode. There's no I in team, but there are 5 in individual brilliance.
Okay.
Never heard of that before.
Or one of my favourite ones from a previous series. Don't tell me that the sky's the limit when there's footprints on the moon.
I've actually heard that one before.
Yeah, you've probably heard
Interesting.
it from Melody from The Apprentice. Oh God,
Uh,
I love the delusional people on The Apprentice UK. I don't know where they find them. Where did you find them?
I like how Jim and Misty tried to book their flights through a library. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it is quite big in the UK having free internet in the libraries and computers. So it actually wasn't a bad idea to go to the library, especially somewhere as remote as the Shetland Islands where you're not going to find much else.
I'll probably like find James and Abba still searching for that book in Russian.
So yeah, we also got one of my favourite confessionals every season when Jim said, "Oh, I'm sure there's no better flight." We all know what that means.
Spoiler alert,
Dong.
there is a better flight.
Yeah, there is always
Dun, dun,
a
dun.
better flight. Even if you have to transfer in the dreaded Frankfurt.
The flight they
or
found was a
something
4
like that.
p.m. flight, correct?
Yes, they were on 4 p.m., which was the second best flight. That's a rarity for that confessional. It's usually the worst flight that they find. But Kim and Ali were the only ones on 2 p.m. Jim and Misty were on 4 p.m. Adam and Bethany, Brooke and Robbie, Amy and Maya, and Keith and Eva were all on 5:10. Tim and TJ were at 5:35, and Shelley and Nisi were 6:20.
It's a pretty hectic flight spread.
Yeah, it's nice to see
Yeah.
some flight intrigue.
Yeah, it's like is this the first episode where they had to scramble for flights this season?
Yes,
Yep.
And which
because the Virgin Islands were both. The Virgin Islands was
means it's probably the first scramble since the Amazing Race. I think Amazing Race 24 had about 1 round with the Margie and Luke trying to make finals for the whole season.
Yeah, that was flying to Sri Lanka, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, revisiting the site of make shirts in a sweatshop for Australia.
And Asia.
Mm.
Don't forget Asia.
Oh yeah, in Asia
They
too.
technically have it first.
Yeah, they're gonna get to that like next season.
I'm
Soon enough.
talking of Australia.
Project that never ends.
Yeah, talking of Australia, I know that you and Michelle have mentioned it then, but I can't wait for Logan to get to Australia so we can just spam him with, "Oh my God, I love this season," basically.
Hasn't stopped us so far.
I know, but we've actually got a use for doing it now. I'll bet.
Yeah, he's like the only YATN cast host who hasn't seen Amazing Race Australia. So
I know, and it's
Hey, I saw season 3. I saw season 3 all the way throughout, thank you very much.
yeah, but
And I'm quite content with how Amazing Race Australia 3 went.
to be fair, Amazing Race Australia 3 is the weakest of the three. Australia,
So what about those Danish windmills?
yes, they are. I don't remember them being that eco-friendly. Having said that, it's probably about 10 years since I've been to Denmark now, but I don't remember them being that eco-friendly. But also, it doesn't surprise me because they are in that part of the world.
Do you think
That's
Ford
Europe,
sponsors
Scandinavia.
all of Copenhagen?
Almost certainly. It's certainly a different side to Scandinavia than we've seen in an Amazing Race like before. With
Mm.
all
I was so terrified that there's going to be hay bales this round. I'm thinking, oh god, they're just going to go to Sweden to unroll hay bales. I know it. That's what they're going to do. Please, dear God, no. But
well, the moral of this season basically is
the temptation.
yeah. The moral of this season is basically we know it's a switchback, but we're not going to call it one for now.
Did they have a switchback this episode?
Not this episode, but we've had the sheep wrangling task was one from Amazing Race 2, I believe. There was tasks very similar to other tasks as well that we've had. The punting, obviously, but being in Oxford instead of Cambridge, that sort of thing. And of course, we have been promised the infamous My Oxys Broken
Reciting the restaurant order is like an Amazing Race staple.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been promised the Oxys Broken task towards the end of the season as well, which I'm so excited about. And Philippines is doing that task this season as well. Fun fact.
Interesting. So that'll be like the fourth season to do it.
Yes.
Cool.
So yeah, Phil goes back to introducing a route marker with the team behind him as well.
Yeah.
Which
it must have been encouraging for Kim and Ali to actually get to Denmark, and then they see Phil there saying, Kim and Ali have arrived first in Denmark ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, and have a massive lead, I believe was the term he used.
Yeah. Oh, that must have been
what I
so
was thinking? Is that in the first season, teams only saw Phil if they were in dead last. Now teams only see Phil on the race course if they are in first. Big change after 13 years.
I know we were discussing in the first episode recap about how we didn't know whether it was deliberate or not, but apparently it is, because I was looking at the sort of race recap on RFF last night for this leg, and they said that he filmed the bit in the Ida Davison restaurant before actually going to the cars, because there was a clock visible behind him. So
I see.
It's actually perfectly. It's actually deliberate on Phil's part.
So they film like he films like the entire all the like stuff he needs to do during the leg, and then he goes to meet the first place team.
Yeah. And then.
Cool.
Or maybe he only does a couple of the route markers first, just so that he shaves off like 3 or 4 hours during the day, and then he heads to the. And then probably heads to the pit stop from there or something like that. I doubt he has time to do every single route marker before meeting up with teams at the first or second task of the leg.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out how he got off the Shetland Islands, actually, because they probably chartered a helicopter or something for him just to get him an advantage, so he'd be a day ahead of them. Because the 13-hour
Phil has his own jet.
Oh, yeah.
But no cord.
Boo!
Touchy subject.
He probably has a closet full of turtlenecks.
A closet, you say?
He doesn't use turtlenecks anymore.
No, he doesn't. We've not seen him with turtleneck for a while, have we?
That was like his early 2000s fashion statement. Then he started wearing the funky cowboy hats for the most part, and maybe he just thought he looks too ridiculous in the turtleneck, or that he was too old for them. But after about season 6 or 7, he just stopped that obsession with turtlenecks without giving anyone any advance notice.
Yeah.
What up with that? Where's the turtlenecks?
Yes, Yasencast Fashion Police.
Sounds like a bad reality show.
You're a poker player. Back onto The Apprentice now, aren't we? So, Kim and Ali, when they meet up with Phil, find out they've now got to drive to Malmö in Sweden, using no more than 0.1 gallons of fuel. If they use more than this, they must answer a geography question, which is the capitals of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, to receive their next clue. Oh, as product placement tasks go, I wasn't a big fan of this. I'm not gonna
Environmentally
lie.
friendly. I was fine with that. Environmentally friendly.
It was a creative task for a sponsored
But at the same time, what a waste of Sweden.
task. It's like going to a gas station and fill up your car. Teams had to actually do something that required skill and was intriguing.
Yeah.
Even a scribing league would have allowed Peggy and Claire or Donald from Nick and Donald to actually be leading at a task for once.
Yeah, what a waste of going to Sweden though, because if they're going to tell us we've got 8 countries plus the US Virgin Islands, and then go, yeah, we just got to Sweden for one task. It's not. They're only going to stay for 5 minutes. That is a bit of a cop out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Especially when they're actually.
It makes me wonder if there's going to be a lot of doubled up countries down the road.
Well, the CBS have now confirmed countries up till leg 7, I think it is. I updated the file on the group earlier, but it's Morocco for the next 2 weeks, and then after that it's Italy. Which, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the mainland. I think it's Sicily. But don't quote me on that.
Is there really that much to do in Morocco?
Depends where they go in Morocco. I've never been to Marrakesh, where they go next week, but I've been to Agadir.
Have they been to Marrakesh?
Yes. Amazing Race 3, as I mentioned in the chat yesterday, where the U-turn board is the exact same place that they got the clue for the roadblock, which was the only roadblock Flo did, which was selling the Escargot.
Yep. That's what I was about to say. The only place that Flo did a roadblock, and that's where Andre and Damon got arrested, even though they're police officers. And being arrested totally had nothing to do with racial profiling.
Of course not. So, surprise, we see Kim and Ali dominate this task in with 0.01 gallons of fuel.
They must have known that they had a big lead if you only use 0.01 by the time you get to the route marker. They used a tenth of a gallon for what was required.
That is insane, frankly.
How would you do that? You just like go along the bridge at like 20 kilometers an hour?
Either that, or they
and have everyone honk at you from behind.
What I would have done in that case is. What I would have done in that case is tried to work out the electric bit of it. Just started using petrol and then see if I could switch the electric bit on only. And then you could just cruise. Berea. It is Sicily, by the way, when they go to Italy, as I thought. So Jim and Misty are the first to fail with 0.15 gallons. Keithney passed with 0.06. Brooke and Robbie, Adam and Bethany, and Amy and Maya all failed. And Tim and TJ also failed, but Shelley and Nisi pass.
Wait, you saying that Bethany didn't use the required amount of fuel?
She didn't use the required amount of fuel, despite being very eco-friendly.
That's never going to get old.
No, it's not. You're right.
They're boring. They're a boring team. They're as boring as whole team, but it's just making fun of her dopey voice. It's just so funny.
She basically is the new Mark in terms of impressions. And
I ain't got no clothes.
Maybe very soon.
What I got. Oh yeah, Harry did that.
There's only two phrases you can do as Mark. It's either "But I ain't got no clothes" or "Baby bear soup."
Let's not give like a heart attack or something.
So after they reach Malmö, they have to go back to Denmark for the detour, which is parking space or wedding cake. And a parking space teams must win.
But first, the geography.
Oh yeah, the geography quiz, which only Tim and TJ are the ones who know it off the top of their heads, which kind of worries me.
I would have got a few of them, but I wouldn't have got all
Yeah,
of
it was
them.
like a third grade geography question.
Yeah, the thing is, you only had to know Denmark, which they'd just flown into, Sweden, which is a pretty easy one, and Norway, which is probably the hardest of the three, but still pretty damn easy. I think most
Especially if you're already
people probably...
traveling around, just seems to look at a map and be like, oh, so those are the three capital cities. And how is Finland not a part of Scandinavia? Is that how it's viewed in Europe, or is that just as stupid as it sounds that they didn't include Finland in that? They thought 4 capital cities would be too hard.
Isn't Iceland part of Scandinavia as well, or would nobody have gotten Iceland?
No, Iceland's way too far away.
Reykjavik.
Oh,
Yeah, Iceland is.
Reykjavik. Oh, Reykjavik. I thought it was Reykjavik.
It's Reykjavik.
Same thing, I guess.
But yeah, Iceland is quite
Reykjavik would be a Russian Iceland.
But yeah, it's not exactly the hardest question. And also, if I were racing to Scandinavia and I'd never been before, I would probably have bought a guidebook of some description to try and work out where we might be going. Because the first thing you sort of look at with when you fly into Copenhagen is, yeah, we can get the bridge to Sweden, so we might be going there as well, or we might be going to Germany because Denmark is very close to Germany.
In driving distance to Germany?
Yeah. Denmark.
Huh.
Germany's the massive bit. Denmark's a little bit at the top. So
Denmark's got over 300 islands, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Denmark is very, very close to Germany. They could have driven across the border, probably. In fact,
The more you know.
They did last time they went to Denmark. Last time they went to Denmark, they drove them to Germany and then got the train to the Netherlands. I seem to remember. No, to Belgium, sorry.
Belgium, yeah. It was Belgium, Denmark were like the sideshow, and then Germany was the core of the episode there. It's 19. Neat leg when you have 3 countries squished into one leg.
It is, which you'll find in Australia twice. So it was parking space or wedding cake, and in parking space teams must build a parklet, either a living room or garden scene, in a parking space within a 30-minute time limit using a picture for reference to receive their next clue. And in wedding cake, teams must complete a traditional Danish wedding cake, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce, and transport it on cargo bike to a restaurant to receive a signature, then ride back to the restaurant to ride back to the patisserie to receive their next clue. I know I
like how the parking space had a detour within the detour.
I know I asked this with every detour. Which one would you have picked? Just looking at them.
Parking space.
Yeah, probably parking space.
But which thing in the parking space? You got another option with pros or cons. Do you choose the garden or do you choose the living room as well?
I'd choose a living room, definitely.
Living room.
Yeah, the garden one looked much harder with the pedals seemed much more subtle. Like all the teams that chose the living room did it much faster than the teams who chose the garden. They had to fail times when they caught onto the pedals in the is it bass or Voss? Voss? Bass. Bass.
I would have had
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have had a bit of a problem with the plant pot just because I probably wouldn't have been able to tell the petals apart.
I think they might have actually had like a little detail that someone will probably overlook. They probably had one of those in the lounge room one, in the living room one. But I think it's probably like nobody actually didn't pick up on it, so they just didn't show it.
Yeah. I don't know
So,
what
like,
it would have been, though. That's the thing.
I don't know. A book was placed in a different spot. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it probably would have been a bit more obvious than the other ones.
Hmm.
So Kim and Ali dominate the leg again, and end up getting cookies from the bakery as well for doing so well.
Yay! They did pretty well this leg.
I
The
wish
only
they got
mistake, the only real
Danishes.
mistake they made was the receipt thing.
Yeah, this is probably the most dominant performance we've seen for a long while in terms of a leg.
Mm. Or at least most dominant performance. They didn't want to make you retch or block your eyes out. Cough, Dave Connor, cough.
I like David Connor. I'll still stick up for them.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was inappropriate for David Connor to be that far ahead of the rest of the competition.
But we're laughing at him. And we're back to just doing impressions again.
Yep. But yeah,
And that's
where's
great.
the Danishes? That's all I wanted to see this leg.
Fun
But
fact.
it never happened.
Yeah, fun fact, in Denmark they actually just call them pastries.
That's a letdown. I wish there was a Danish holding the Danish at a Danish shop.
It's Danish-ception.
So fun to write about.
Danish-ception
Yeah.
is a very hard thing to say.
Daneception.
Yeah. Yo, Doug, I heard you like Danish, so we put Danish in your Danish. So,
What if it's Dane Cook? Dane Cook is Danish.
Oh.
He's on a Danish at a Danish shop, standing next to a Great Dane.
or being humped by Great Danes,
We're going too deep.
as Phil found.
The Danes are collapsing.
Kim and Ali do lose their receipt on the way to the restaurant, but do manage to find it because it's just around the corner, which is nice for them.
Yep. And then they totally radically ride their bike back to the.
What do we think of Hendrik the chef?
He wasn't the most fun person we've ever seen.
And he wasn't even the most fun person in the leg. So.
Yeah, true. Also,
So if I remember her name.
Oh
her
yeah,
name,
the
one-
wait, yeah,
actual
we still got the waiter at the roadblock to talk about.
just going back to the cars, did you notice they're all registered to Michigan? They'd actually shipped them over from the US to do this. And registered them there.
People still
Yeah.
work in Michigan?
Yeah, apparently so. I didn't even know Ford was
Knowing
still
how
based in Michigan.
expensive everything is over in Scandinavia, that's probably the cheaper option than actually like getting some Ford cars in Denmark.
Yeah, it probably is.
Because like they pay a lot for everything over there, but they get better like standard of living over there to balance that out. But like considering how expensive over there, it probably was pretty cheaper to actually like get some cheap cars from America, ship them over to Denmark, and then have them drive around.
The one thing I'm very disappointed I didn't screen grab, actually, which I've just remembered, is Whitney chowing down on the cake as well. She was enjoying herself and eating it.
Mm.
Before they swapped.
Yeah, if I was the one holding the cake and we were never gonna get there, I'd just probably before we changed, I'd just sort of like take the chocolate bit off the top.
The one team that we've basically not talked about yet as well, Shelley and Nisi. Oh my god.
If you haven't seen Wild Album so far, you're never going to, because holy crap, I love them. And not even in the way.
I started warming up to them slightly with the passive-aggressive fight about the cake. I really would prefer to make the cake, Nisi. That's nice. Sass.
But no,
Is
Whitney's
Sweden the same as
that
Denmark?
Oh lord.
We should make a top 10 of weird, worst geography-related things ever said on the race. I could think of a few from the Amazing Race Australia that could top the list.
Yeah,
For example, you go first.
I was going to say Brooke and Robbie would be up there, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, can't we use less than 1/10 of gas?
What'd you say, Ben? Sorry.
Is Poland in Antarctica?
What about Sally?
Oh, you can get
Portugal in
holes
South
from her as
America.
well.
Yeah, is Portugal in South America?
I mean, that one's understandable. I went through this in the episode, but that one's actually understandable because it sounds like a South American country. But, I guess, no, that's not actually, it's easy to mock her. Let's just mock her.
Yeah. She's so lovely that we've just got to mock her now.
Mm. Like, days and a month after her season's already ended. Yay.
Hey, she got enough. Her and Titan got enough loyalty points to go around the world 3 times. I think they can survive.
I guess.
So yeah, Amy Meyer left parking in second with Keithney in third. And the editors were really burying Jim and Misty this week. There was a lot of sort of quotes trying to mock Jim and Misty for being very intense.
Out of their own mouths.
Yeah. Still, it's not nice. They're marking them.
It was fun.
They're mean. They're so mean. To quote people who try and troll me. I'm still mocking them as well. So, we had Jim and Misty swapping as well, which was... And that's the first time this season we've seen someone swap a detour.
What?
Is that the first time this season we've seen someone swap?
No, not even in this episode.
Yes. Yeah, but Jim and Misty were the first ones to do it this episode.
No, I think they did the parking space first, didn't they?
Yeah, they did parking space first.
Well, like the people who started out on the cake one and then swapped over to parking
they
space,
did.
yes.
Yeah, ignore me.
They came over and Jim and Misty was still there. Yes, I will ignore you. I'll put you in mute, like you do Eamon.
I only do that to Eamon when he starts talking over me, and he does deserve it occasionally. Love you, Eamon. So we had Adam and Bethany leaving in 5th with
Adam, Bethany, and Labs in 5th.
With Tim and TJ leaving in 6th. And then Jim and Misty in 7th, and Shelley and Nisi in last place. Must have missed someone out.
Then we get to the roadblock.
Yes, the Rock teams had to head to the Ida Davidson restaurant and do a quite fun task, actually. With which is who has a good memory for faces. In this roadblock, one team member must take a sandwich order of 2 patrons, which will be given to them in numbers. They must then use a board to work out which sandwiches the patrons asked for and recite the ingredients and sandwich numbers to Ida Davidson herself to receive their next clue. And
What's the overlay?
What overlay? I don't know what you're talking about, Ben. There we go. What?
I wrote down that somebody had that top shot, but I have no idea who it was. And it was right around like you said, the show first at the start of the leg. And I don't know who it was, and that's annoying me, because I didn't indicate who it was that laughed. Really crazy.
Oh, a crazy laugh, I'm not sure. Probably Whitney. Whitney does have a good laugh, I seem to remember.
Yeah, because I specifically wrote down that it was the Chucky laugh. But, yeah, I think Kim and Allie made the mistake of going to the Davidson restaurant when they were already full from all those cookies. I mean, they were like Carla Cookie Monster Spurza from the UFC there, but they couldn't even eat anything at a much higher end because they're already full. They made a huge mistake. They could have sat down for a nice meal.
So you're saying this mistake was huge? They needed this. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, only fill them up. They could have had a Bombay sandwich or a Mumbai sandwich or whatever it's called. But
Does
no,
Bombay sandwich.
they screwed it up.
Does this leg cement Brooke and Robbie as legends, by the way? I know I called them a couple of weeks ago being the Suki and Jinder of this season, but, you know, they are.
They're getting there.
100%.
Brooke still annoys me. Like,
I'm very much...
Yeah,
just
Robbie
like-
gave a sandwich. Robbie gave a sandwich order the Sherlock Holmes treatment.
I'm very much on the Robbie train. Also, who'd have thought that I'd be supporting someone affiliated with Jesse Goddard? Which he is, tag team partner.
wait, you mean you weren't cheering for Lydia in Big Brother 11?
No, I was cheering for Jesse and his girls, though. Because, you know, anything is better than Jeff and Jordan. Or Jeff and Snowden.
Oh,
It's a
you
bit of a
got
balance
them.
act for me because, like,
Good.
on one side, on one side it's like the only one I liked on Jesse and his girls was like the only one I liked was Kevin.
Kevin,
But the
yeah.
other side, I like Michelle and Russell. So,
Oh, that was such a mess of a season.
Kevin is one of Jesse's girls. Is that a Nadia quote?
You idiot! You fool! 20 impressions. We are doing a lot of impressions today, too, aren't we? But
yeah, I haven't. Did I ever show you my? I have a few impressions up my belt. Like back when I was working on that other podcast. Like the most famous one I did was like was when I found a lemon tree.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I only got it from the quote.
Oh, fuck you.
That's revenge for gloating about your podcast stats. I never forget. I never forget. What? I can't remember what I was going to say now. You've thrown me off. Oh yeah, Robbie.
Serves you right.
Robbie had the quote of the episode with "We get hit in the head a lot." There's just nothing up there.
Except Sherlock Holmes knowledge. That's about it. He can do Sherlock Holmes, and that's it. And apparently it applies to sandwich orders.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't necessarily an interesting task to watch, but it probably was one of the better waiting tasks that we've had.
Yeah. Between Amazing Race Canada and Amazing Race 2 and a couple of other seasons, it just feels like, oh no, not this order task. But this one was somewhat entertaining, especially when you hear that Kim was a waitress earlier in life and she found a much better career path, and then you got Robbie there, and then you have Misty being completely ashamed that she lost to Maya at it after, well, it's not a surprise because I think Misty was a bit zoned out after she said at the detour that she wants to roll out the grass, which is a highly suggestive statement. But yeah.
Especially in Scandinavia.
Fairly entertaining one.
Do you think the producers deliberately put in that they had to include the numbers just so someone would trip up?
Yep.
Hoping and praying. And she fulfilled that.
I think so.
I wish I knew. I wish I could remember the rhythm she was doing the ingredients in, so I could just like randomly repeat it back during the middle of the podcast.
So Kim completes the roadblock in first place and is directed to the pit stop, the VM houses, which I'm sure will be much more comfortable than sleeping in a tent on a Shetland beach.
Twist had to share a room with a Great Dane.
Oh, those Great Danes. Some of my favourite animal greeters ever, I must say.
Did you screen grab them?
Oh, yes.
Wait, you mean the puffin? You mean even better than the puffin?
Yeah, the puffin was just weird. Yeah, of course I've got a picture of a sleepy Great Dane. Of course. I can't help it.
Oh,
I see an
Jim and
adorable.
Misty, what's the biggest issue? They should always have that Great Dane that is really far behind. Just have that Great Dane just sleeping there saying, "You took so long and the Great Dane fell asleep."
I, I see a cute dog. I have to screen grab it. I'm sorry. Them's the rules.
Ah, good thing we're never going to Korea again, aren't we?
Well, for a while. I'll just leave the sleepy Great Dane up there. So Maya received the clue in second, with Robbie in third and Whitney in fourth, and TJ was fifth, and Adam completed it in sixth. Nisi in seventh, and Misty left in eighth.
Did you catch on to Amy and Maya's new team nickname? They're no longer #sweet scientists. They are now the Candy Girls.
Yeah, that just made me think of Candy Girl Saga instead of Candy Crush Saga.
And Keith Thing are finally Team Survivor.
Yeah, finally people actually
Yeah.
realize that.
They're finally recognizing them. Maybe Keith and Whitney were saying, "Oh, we were on that season of Survivor," and they say, "We don't believe you." And then she must have said, like, "Oh, you disgust me with you not knowing who we are," or that she just holds up a picture of Cochran reluctantly, and they say, "Oh yeah, you guys sort of remember you still, but okay."
I love that. Basically, the words "you disgust me" are now Whitney's calling card.
She could trademark them if she wanted to. If Paris Hilton can own "That's Hot," Whitney can own "You Disgust Me."
And Ryan Lochte can trademark Jaya.
What?
So,
Oh, good.
Yeah. You obviously don't watch the thing.
I don't get it.
So yeah, we had Kim and Ali coming in first, and this must be the earliest car prize leg we've ever had. It doesn't usually appear that early.
Mm.
They're switching everything up for Amazing Race 25. Buckle up.
Buckle up. I think sixth leg was the previous record actually. I know Amazing Race 18 it was 6, because that was the one where Zev and Justin won them. They were like, yay, cars.
Wait. Huh. Am I counting it right? 11, 10. So,
I think it
no, sixth leg was that was in India with where the prize that leg was a Snapple.
Oh, my favourite prize ever. that was leg 8 then, wasn't it? So yeah, they usually are really late in the season.
What country were they in where they won cars?
Austria.
Yeah, that was leg 8.
Yeah, because leg 9 was the one where they headed into Switzerland, into Liechtenstein, sorry.
Liechtenstein. And then Jet and Cord were finally gone. Yeehaw.
And a U-turn.
Was it gnarly?
Oh, it was
gnarly. Pardon me. It was gnarly? Everything is now gnarly to Adam and Bethany. I think they used the word gnarly 3 times throughout the leg.
Funnily enough,
maybe they listened to a lot of Gnarls Barkley, I don't know, or they
That's crazy.
Well, I played a lot of Toe Jam and Earl, I don't know.
Yeah, funnily enough, I wrote down the word gnarly as well.
Adam and Bethany are like, have you seen that video of that Californian surfer who was like, yeah, just drop in, dude, and it's like, wow, just do it there. Have you seen that? You haven't seen that video?
Yeah.
They're like the living incarnation, like the living incarnation of that video. Drop in, pow.
Also, what happened to Amy and Maya on the way to the pit stop?
I'm guessing that there's like regular things where they like basically like bleed through their navigation time, because that doesn't make any sense. Leave second, come
They
fourth.
stopped for ice cream.
Yeah, I don't actually understand how they possibly managed to go from second to fourth.
I really wish they had like a scene like saying, "Oh, I think we're lost." Like a 1 second scene of like saying that they think they're lost. I mean, every other scene, like every other scene in the episode was like 1 second, so why not this?
So we had.
Yeah, if they can squeeze in 10 seconds of Brooks' cake-gasm during the detour, I think they can fit in 1 second to explain why Amy and Maya fell in the standings there right on the way to the pit stop.
Yeah, it's one of those questions because it's not the first time it's happened. They really must be terrible on a self-drive leg.
Hmm.
So we had Brooke and Robbie in second, which I'm very, very happy about because I've been championing them. Keith and E disgusting me in third place. Amy and Maya finally came in fourth. And, of course, the best check-in of all time, Tim and TJ in fifth. Yes, I have. Yes, I have the screen grab. Of course, I have the screen grab.
Hashtag blindside.
Hashtag hump. Hashtag humpy. The best thing is, I've just been looking at Phil's Twitter. This wasn't the only time that dog did it to Phil. Did it while they were waiting as well.
We could have got some. Could have got some of that.
Yeah, at least tweeted a picture of it, saying Phil dancing with the pit stop greeter and then a dog trying to hump him again. So we had Shelley and Nisi melting down in sixth place, and Sad Great Dane.
That was amazing.
Which I've now got screen.
I'm not going to tell you where the pit stop is. You can do it all on your own.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, that was so petty. I love it.
How much of a terrible relationship must they have if that is how it ends? If they're supposed to be a team and Shelley just goes, you know what? Meh, F you. I don't care. We'll lose.
For them, it is they are now playing the mole rather than the Amazing Race.
Yes.
Except the mole is the least little mole ever.
12 teams. Or 11 teams of ordinary people. But one is a covert agent. Anyway, the least subtle mole ever is a definite Craig from the last American season. There's no question.
Oh, yeah. No, my sister and I knew who it was right from the very first episode.
I knew it before the first episode because they accidentally spoiled it.
And now I have first episode. You just told me.
Yeah, it's not a great season anyway. You don't need to worry.
Like I've been able to believe it's a great season, mostly because of Dr. Nicole.
Ben,
What?
Stick to what I'll tell you to do. Watch the Dutch one. Solid gold moles.
Does it have Dr. Nicole telling people she'll kill them in their sleep?
No, but she was a great character as well.
She can do it and not leave any forensic evidence.
I know I said this before. Last season of the Dutch Mole had the sneakiest mole clues I've ever seen. Like the most ridiculous ones. It's better than hiding someone's AFL colours on tablecloths and things. It's much better than that. It's the only clue where I've gone, how the hell did I not realise that? Because I wrote it all down and just didn't piece it together.
I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, damn right you will. Adam and Bethany in 7th. And then we get to see the sleepy dog.
Because Jim and Misty suck?
Because Jim and Misty sucked. And came in last place. But the save was not required.
Boo!
And
stupid twist!
There we are. Yeah, at least we got the answer to whether they...
He's so expressionless. Oh, man. You think he's going to whip Bill in the face with the save? Oh.
That was after
maybe he might surpass Colin from Amazing Race 5 as the most murderous looking guy ever cast in Amazing Race history. Oh, man.
Most likely serial killer.
Well,
yeah, I think that's what he was voted on in high school before. Most likely to be a serial killer, then just below that, most likely to be a dentist.
At least we got the answer to whether they needed to hand the save in on a non-elimination leg or not.
Oh, can we just get over how
it reminds you of how
it is that like now Jim and Misty have to come in last 3 times for them to be eliminated, or 4 times. It might even be 5 times.
Yeah.
Like that's just.
Yeah,
Oh.
that would be hilarious if that happened. That would take Ryan and Rob. That would make Ryan and Rob look like excellent racers.
I mean, even Lamelia only needed 2.
Yeah. Well, Lamelia were the exception to the rule, given their other performance in the legs. which
Should,
which is
can we just can we spoil one detail to Logan before he gets to the stage then?
yeah.
I want to spoil
Go
one
ahead.
detail to him. They drive onto the ground. They drive onto the grounds.
I forgot about this.
Michael, you tell it.
I love Lucy.
Because I can't. You tell us. You tell the driving onto what they drive onto the grounds of.
It was the fourth leg, I want to say, fourth leg of Amazing Race Australia 2, and Lucina Amelia, the Comet Relief team, up to this point had come in the very last place they possibly could to still be in the race, and they end up driving on the way to the pit stop into a royal palace and getting arrested. Basically. I completely forgot they'd done that. Legends. They were detained for driving into the grounds of a royal palace in Dubai, but they were eventually released with a warning. To quote Wikipedia.
Oh,
that was such a that was awesome.
What a great season.
So we've got a lot to talk about with next week as well, haven't we? With speed bump, double U-turn, and a definite elimination.
Is the speed bump confirmed for next week?
I think it's 99% confirmed. A non-elimination penalty hasn't been changed because they would have hyped that up, so it's almost certainly going to still be speed bump.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. Like the save seems as overpowered as the hidden immunity idol rules from Exile Island and Cook Islands, where they could just use it after the votes for red. So then both people that had the idol, Terry and Exile Island and Yule and Cook Islands, were able to just get to the end. And here it just seems like the same thing, where you don't have to play. They should make it so that you have to play it once you're at the pit stop, before Phil reveals what place you are. Yeah, otherwise, it's a non-elimination leg, and they go to hand it in, and then it's just given back, which just seems like ridiculous.
They should
playing the save before you know what place you're in. That'd be like the Guatemala. That'd be like the Guatemala rules.
Yeah,
sort of.
They should either do that or make it so they absolutely have. If they hand it in, they cannot take it, or they cannot get it back at all.
No backsies?
Yeah.
Basically no backsies.
Yeah, no backseat. Because it just looks ridiculous to see Jim hand it in, and then Phil will be like, actually, you don't need to hand it in. You get to save yourself for a second time.
Yeah, basically, they should have Phil go, and you want to use the save. This is not a real save. Chuck it in the fire. You're still not in it.
Or just chuck it in the Great Dane's mouth.
Exactly.
The Great Dane eats it.
Feed it.
The dog ate my save.
Yeah, feed it to the Great Dane. Talking of the Great Danes again, because my favourite bit of the leg. Apparently, Phil said on Twitter that, or he strongly hinted there's going to be that the very task is going to be animal related. Because of the puffin last week. And
there's been. I was just thinking, there was a puffin and now Dane. Was there an animal at the first 2 pit stops or no?
No. There was the carnival at the first one, and there was Winston Churchill at the second one.
Churchill is an animal.
So that's it's something to do with animals by the sound of things. Because obviously they're going to have Ox towards the end as well.
At least we'll have a memory task.
And whatever Malta offers up.
But like I said, at least we'll have a memory task. Amazing Race 24.
Oh. any season without a memory challenge just drops in my estimation. All
So
the
every
time.
season
Imagine
before
if-
season 9?
Yeah, I don't particularly enjoy seasons without memory tasks.
Masonry 3 had a memory task. It took 2 seconds to do, but it was a memory task.
Yeah, any good memory challenge is sort of raises it a couple of points in my estimation. Take season 12. Season 12 was an awesome season, made even better
By robbing Rod and Christina.
by that ridiculous memory challenge, which I love and want to see back again because, you know, a memory challenge is so hard that it makes people cry. It's good in my book.
And not just because it hits them on the head like Lexi.
Exactly. Oh, that's. I mean, the season 21 one was different because it was Edwin, and it wasn't, you know, particularly fun to watch. At least the 12 one had play along value.
Hmm.
Imagine if Edwin and Monica had the save in the Masonry Sage 2. I would be highly amused if they had the save. And then they just get to be dead last every single leg.
Oh Lord.
So
Imagine if you could just find the save like you did the express pass or hidden immunity idol.
well, that idea is not necessarily a bad thing because if they're going to instead give away holidays on money or weird prizes, then actually it's not going to be a bad idea if they then have to do something else to get the save or the express pass.
Hmm.
And in fact, I would probably advocate that.
Yeah.
Be-
Good work, Michael. Let's go to lunch.
There should be risk versus reward for it all the time. They shouldn't just be handed it. There should be risk or reward.
Hmm.
Because if you win the save,
Like
and
a
then
fast forward that
exactly,
they've taken away from us.
if they're gonna get rid of the fast forwards and it's not even appeared on the Wikipedia page, which worries me, then you know
But-
why not make this a new fast forward and give it a good challenge?
Logan, it's been 21 seasons and possibly more than 21 seasons since they put a fast forward in every leg. Let it go. Let it go.
No!
Yeah, I mean, even if they just did it with extra money, if they said you've got to go and complete this extra challenge, but you can win $10,000 if you do it, that would be a fun way to implement some fun stuff like
It
that.
is just going out of the way a bit and
Or
finding
extra
something.
money to use on the race. Like an extra $20 or so.
Yeah, because I mean, if, for example, the Express Pass one in Oxford, that was around the corner from Christchurch. That wasn't even that difficult to get to.
Mm.
It should be like half an hour away, easily.
Or on the train route.
Yeah, or as we suggested, they have to get off the train a stop early or a couple of stops early and try and find it.
Mm.
So, who do we think is going to get U-turned? Because they wouldn't show it if it wasn't going to get used, really, would they?
Misty and Jim, hopefully.
And maybe Shelly and Nisi, based on the preview of Shelly arguing with Keith. Now that's a fight I want to see. Shelly versus somebody with very little personality.
Keith has shown much
Shown
more
personality.
personality this season than he did in South Pacific easily.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just like to pick on Keith and Whitney like 90% of the reality TV audience.
Yeah, Ben won't let me pick on Whitney too much, despite the fact that
No,
she
no,
gets this
I'm fine. I'm fine with you picking on her, but as long as it's not about like the way that previously on Survivor Group does it, because that's like shaming her for a marriage thing. So it's like, and not also just shaming her, just being judgmental prudes about it. Like, oh, Whitney is not a very good person if she would do this. Or it's like, yeah, I don't care for judgmental, moralizing twats like you. Go away.
Yeah,
I love that her edit so far has just been like being a completely negative shrew, but that's fine with me and Keith as well. But like, there's a line we have to go with reality living people.
Yeah, I've
I like
used.
how it looks like they never
Come.
enjoyed to sign a driver in Amazing Race. I find that hilarious.
I've used up my one joke about Whitney's former marriage this season, so I'm not allowed to do any more.
That's right.
I had to ask permission first. So yeah, for the next couple of weeks, it's going to be really fun with the podcast because my clocks go back next week, Logan's go back the week after. So we're sticking to 7 a.m. PT. So next week it's exactly the same time for everyone but me, when it's 2 p.m. for me. And then the week after it goes to another hour forward.
Yay!
Yay! Which means 2 a.m. for Ben. Yay!
Wait, really? Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, we have to reschedule this I'm not staying up to 2 a.m. for this. Seriously.
Wrong. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll be back next Sunday at 7 a.m. PT, which will only becomes 2 p.m. GMT, as I mentioned. The next Amazing Race recap podcast brought to you by the UR Team Number Facebook group. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, and please like the videos so we can rise up the rankings and I can stop sounding horrendously needy. And you can hit all of it on Twitter. If you search Yattencast, you should find us, or you can look in the description because I've put all of our tweeters down there. And if you're one of the literally tens of people watching Seven's new hit show, The Big Adventure, you can join Ben and Michelle for a recap of the first episode tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. AEST, which is
neat.
Yeah, which is whatever time in PT. I can't even be bothered working it out.
Yeah, don't bother.
just look at Ben. He'll be tweeting the hell out of it probably. That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.